guys, Theo here with the Big Review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and today will be the second part in our 3-part Reviving Hell's Dungeon guide. Yesterday, if you did not check out that video, make sure you check out the link in the description. We were able to go over and cover kind of some different general information on the Reviving Hell's Dungeon, address some misconceptions by newer players about the mode, and then we went ahead and we got into kind of some best practices, and then where you can pick up the XP capsules so that you can build your characters to advance through the Reviving Hell's Dungeon, specifically for beginner and intermediate players. So today, the topic I wanted to go over is I wanted to go ahead and go over the best characters for the Reviving Hell's Dungeon, specifically for each color. I'm going to start with FES, obviously, which are the ideal scenario, and then for those of you who are trying to get through these tiers, specifically the mid to upper tiers with kind of a budget option, then I will also go over a few golds that I find to be useful for this mode. So a couple of things to preface this with. First and foremost, this is not a tier list. Repeat after me, not a tier list. This is literally just characters that are phenomenal for mobbing and bossing in Reviving Hell's Dungeon. Also, point number 2 I want to make before I get into these, this is not taking into account specifically the color or typing combinations for the upper tiers, like your tier 43 plus. So with those characters, like we're talking your Chrysalids, your Rachels, your Elizabeths for your Silent Night Elizabeth specifically, characters like that, we're not going to be getting into those in this video because there's just probably not going to be enough time, and tomorrow I'm actually going to take a look at the advanced part of this, which is taking a look at the spreadsheet to show you guys the specific needs that you will have whenever you hit tier 40 and some of the different characters you'll need to build up specifically to get through those tiers. So if you guys enjoy this content and want to see more of it, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video. It helps me out a ton as a new YouTuber, and I greatly appreciate it. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So first color I want to talk about here is going to be the red color, and in my opinion, for Reviving Hell's Dungeon and for other game modes, you definitely want to be going with K as your battery. Now if you don't know what a battery is, we talked about it yesterday, but basically a battery is going to be a character on your team that is going to be relied upon to get you through the mode that you are going through. So for this specifically, we're talking Reviving Hell's Dungeon. K would be a great character to kind of lean on to get you through those tiers. So definitely a character to prioritize for the red pool if you have him. If you don't, next up in my opinion would be Rachel, who I can actually show you guys here. Mine is not built up, but she is in here somewhere towards probably the mid to bottom. There we go. So there's Rachel. She's kind of a diet K, or honestly with the 7 Night Stones probably right on par with them, if not even a little bit better performance just based solely upon her stones, but definitely a wonderful character, and she's free to play. So if you don't have K, there you go. You have a budget option already given to you. So that is going to be those two characters. Those two, in my opinion, specifically because of their typings, are going to be useful for Reviving Hell's Dungeon. And then, of course, Mr. Karate kind of picks up the third slot there. Phenomenal damage output, phenomenal character. He groups mobs in a great way. Problem is he does not have dot damage, so really outside of some really good mobbing and phenomenal damage output, for PvE, he's just going to be really a guy there to stall the clock with his finisher spam. So those are going to be the ones that I would recommend for the FES pool. So next up, we're going to talk about blue. And blue starts and ends with Dellons. Dellons is by far and away the best blue for Reviving Hell's Dungeon. He's the best blue in the game. If you do not have Dellons, you have a few more days to pull for him. Make sure you do so. You will not regret it. He is unbelievably good, and he is in the upper echelon. He is a battery for blue and a much needed one. He is just wonderful. So absolutely awesome. Next up for the FES blues, in my opinion, would probably be a toss-up because blue is kind of a shallow color in general. You have either, in my opinion, for the runner-up to Dellons, being either probably Original Zero, which I can show you my Original Zero here, but I'm sure you guys know who I am referring to. There he is right there. So when it comes to Original Zero, really, really good, a little bit outdated, but he's there. Still a very good character to this day, though. So if you have him, definitely worth investing in. And then beyond that, Rock Boy here. Rock is fantastic. A lot of people discount him and don't really take him into account when it comes to this kind of stuff, but he's awesome for RHD. He's really, really good at his bossing. So definitely a good character. Doesn't get a lot of love, but he deserves it. For this mode, at least. Otherwise, your mileage may vary. And then Rio's really good also, but I would say the other ones are probably going to perform a little bit better. So yeah, there you go. Those are your blues. Dellons, Dellons, Dellons. Anyway, on to green. Just like Dellons, green is also dominated by one character, and that is going to be Gonitz. For those of you who have never played this game before, Gonitz is one of the best characters in the game. Go figure. Absolutely incredible bleed character. He is going to be just useful for any number of game modes. If you don't have a Gonitz, you need to get a Gonitz. You're not going to regret it. Max invest into this guy. He's awesome. So next up for green, in my opinion, would probably be just for general mobbing and general bossing in RHD, probably Shane. I don't have Shane, so I can't necessarily kind of go off of personal experience with her, but she is wonderful. And then beyond that, you're also going to have Lady Geese, in my opinion, would be the runner-up to Gonitz. She is just really versatile in general and does a ton of damage. She is very useful in a lot of different modes because of her darkness damage, so if you need another green, she is somebody who doesn't get a lot of love but deserves it. And then kind of a runner-up to all of them is going to be Adelheid. Adelheid has really, really good damage output, and he does really, really good against bossing. He's also really, really good against mobs. So overall, he's really great. Problem with him is, you know, there's just characters out there that are more versatile. So, but otherwise, if you just need another green in general, he's a really good option. So let's move on and talk about purple. So in the purple pool, by far and away the best overall purple, in my opinion, for Reviving Hell's Dungeon and for just general PvE is going to be Nameless. He is absolutely incredible. He has burn, he spams finishers, he has amazing PG gain. He is just a overall incredible PvE character. I know he's fallen out of favor with the PvP crowd as of late, but if you need a great character for PvE for the purple pool, he's absolutely going to carry you. And also he's a defensive type, which is extremely important going forward into some of the higher tiers. So if you need that, which you will, make sure you build him up. He will carry you whenever you need either a purple or a defense. So then beyond that, in my opinion, the next purple is going to be Maxine or Eileene. It's kind of a toss-up. They both have similar roles. They output incredible amounts of damage. They both are extremely good at their juggles whenever they're awakened. But really, outside of some key differences with, you know, dots and things of that nature, they're very similar in their roles. There is this case to be made for Lady Maxima with her leadership ability down here, giving 55% to Nest Fighters, that she might be a little bit better or more versatile for general PvE because of some of the other characters that are nests, but it depends on what you're doing. In this specific mode, though, I would say she's about on par with Eileene. Runner-up would be Ignis. I mean, he's okay. I think a lot of people overhype him for PvE just based solely upon his damage output, but really outside of his damage output and a long finisher, he's not great. That is going to be his two claims to fame, and then beyond that, he's just kind of there. So he's less than ideal in my opinion, but you can use him. And you will need a purple attack. So when it comes to Maxine or Ignis or Eileene, having purple attacks they're all going to be purple attack. Take your pick. My opinion, Maxine and Eileene are going to be better than Ignis, though. So that is going to be purple. for the FES pool. And then finally here, we're going to talk about yellow. My yellow team is about to get an overhaul finally, thank goodness, because it needs it. But Lady Zero is the best Reviving Hell's Dungeon character in the entire game, bar none, period. End of story. She takes down bosses like they are not even there. She goes straight through waves. She just doesn't care. She single taps everything. So definitely Lady Zero. You're going to use her for a lot of things in this game. She is just incredible. I have tried to find characters that can out DPS her in RHD, and it doesn't end up happening, regardless of what I do. She just is one of those characters. She just gets the job done so well with such ease that she's worth every bit of investment. From there, though, like I said, my team's about to get an overhaul. The next one for yellow is going to probably be, in my opinion, Orochi Iori. Orochi Iori has stood the test of time and maintained relevance in a great way, based solely upon the fact, I think, just his leadership ability and then his PG rate, as well as his damage output. Those things have kind of kept him relevant. Obviously, he has his issues. He is not a top tier character by any stretch of the imagination, but for PvE, he is. So definitely a useful yellow. Reviving Hell's Dungeon for yellow is interesting too, because there's a lot of characters you might not think about that are awesome at it. So speaking of those, Lady Chang, awesome character for this, and she's a defensive type. And then also Terry is pretty good. If you need it to, you can use 03 Terry. I've had some good luck with him in the past. He was on my team for a while, but then I just kind of got past him because I ran out of memories and needed somebody as a third. Psyche, don't do Psyche. Psyche sucks. So anyway, that is going to be for RHD, for each color, the FES units you want to focus on. And with some investment, I mean, you can make almost any of these FES characters work. It just comes down to who's the best, and in my opinion, those are the best ones. They tend to group mobs the best, juggle bosses the best, just be good for more than just RHD, so you get the most out of your investment with them. But like I said, we're just focused on RHD in this video. But again, I just wanted to make sure I went over those with you guys. So now that we've gone over the FES fighters, let's go ahead and take a look at some honorable mentions for the golds, which I know a lot of people who don't have all these FES characters are very interested in, whether it's to round out a team or whether or not you are just getting started and want to invest in a couple of these gold characters. Let me talk about a couple of different options. So when it comes to these gold characters, a lot of these are going to be collab characters. So I apologize in advance if you missed out on some of these, but when it comes to gold, it's just tough because really none of them outside of the collab characters are anything you're going to want to max invest into. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of level 50 regular gold characters running around out there. It's just because they're really not worth the investment. So I'm going to go over the ones that are the best in my opinion and apologize in advance if you don't have some of these characters. So first and foremost, Kazuya, if you need a yellow, awesome character. He is really good. He has amazing PG. He has a great 3-tier finisher. So overall, Kazuya, if you missed out on Tekken, I'm sorry for various reasons, but Kazuya is a wonderful option for gold. Staying with Tekken and going to green, Paul has withstood the test of time better than any of the Tekken collab characters. In my opinion, it's based solely upon the fact that he has a 60% attack increase to attack-type fighters as a leadership skill, meaning that he gives 60% to characters like Gonitz and Lady Geese. So, wonderful character. If you don't have him, I'm sorry, but he is really good. Moving forward, another collab character, Hotaru for red. This one I would actually max invest if you want to. Hotaru is pretty much diet FES, in my opinion. He's close to being a FES character, but not quite there. However, being that he is a bleed character, you'll get a lot of mileage out of him in other modes. He has a nice long 3PG finisher, so definitely worth using, definitely worth building, and a wonderful third for your red team. And then moving on to the purple, we're going to talk about Lady Yashiro. Lady Yashiro, I'm only bringing up because she's versatile for a lot of different modes, so you'll get a lot of mileage out of her as well. Definitely worth using. I would say that she is now more so than ever useful because of some of the other modes that have come up in the past few months. So if you need a gold purple as a budget, she's a wonderful pick. And then also in purple, you will have this Mai. This Mai 98, is pretty decent. I wouldn't invest in her a ton. You'll use her maybe in Infinite Battle and things like that outside of the RHD, but outside of that, you're never going to use her. So she's just a budget option. So if you're really tight on options, she's a good one. But really, if you have Genjiro, he's way better, so use him for purple. So that's another really good one. But again, it's a collab character. So if you did miss these collabs, man, if you're noticing a theme, don't miss collabs. Another one, red, and it's a balance type, is Jeanette. She's pretty good. She's a little awkward with her skills, a little bit slow, but she's really good for some damage output on her finisher. She's good in general just for, mobbing and things like that because of her S1, but really you're not going to use her for much, kind of like Mai, outside of some very specific instances, and even then she's just kind of average. But that's what happens when you get into some of these regular gold characters. There's just not a lot to talk about. They're either going to be trash or they're going to be average. So another good budget option is this Kula. This is a purple attack Kula, the Halloween Kula. You can get her from the general pool. She's pretty good because she has freeze. She's a gold border. She's been in the game forever, but she's still relevant. She's a decent character. She'll be useful in other modes too for you for certain things where you need, the extra chill damage or whatever the case may be. So you can always go with her if you want. Another option here, as far as collabs go, Heihachi. Heihachi is wonderful as well because of the shock damage he outputs. He has explosion. He's just a really good character in general, but again, he's another collab character. But purple attack makes him very useful for our HD. Again, tomorrow we'll go into some of the upper tiers where you'll need specific typing / color combinations. We're not going to be able to fit it into this video, but in the final video tomorrow, we'll get into that, go through that spreadsheet, show you guys what you'll need for those specific tiers once you get out of the 30s in order to advance any further. So beyond all that, I mean, really, it comes down to how much you want to invest in these characters. Some of these characters you'll be able to get through whatever you're stuck on as a third character to round out a team if they have enough investment. But I don't want to sit here and tell you that all these characters are worth investing a ton into. Really, if you can't tell, the FES characters are the ones you're going to want to invest the most into, and they're the ones you're going to want to focus on. They're the ones that are going to be ideal to get you through certain situations. But really, you can do a lot of these characters. Like these Wonderland characters, like the Yuri, the Athena, even the Elizabeth, they can be decent as well. But really, when it comes to gold characters, they are what they are. They're just going to be kind of placeholders until you can build up some of these FES fighters. So keep that in mind. I would not max invest into any of these, really, outside of a few specific instances with some of these collab characters, like a Haomaru, like a Genjiro, like a Paul, like a Kazuya. So that is going to be today's topic, guys. So I just wanted to go ahead and quickly give you an overview of the FES fighters and some of the gold border fighters that you will want to focus on for RHD. Like I said, by no means is this a tier list. By no means is this a comprehensive list. And by no means is it going to be all the characters that will be useful. It is just going to be a kind of combination of characters that I have used that I found to be the most productive to get through Reviving Hell's Dungeon, with a little bit of extra versatility and other modes sprinkled in to kind of weight how I would recommend them to you guys, just so that way going forward you get the most kind of bang for your buck. So that is going to be today's video topic. Tomorrow, obviously, we're going to get into the spreadsheet finally and show you guys kind of what we're looking at with some of these upper tiers when you're going to need specific color and type combinations. I wanted to get it into this video, but I hate throwing 30-minute videos up for you guys, so I'm going to try and keep this one to around the same time as yesterday's video, and we'll just do 3 installments and call it a day. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this topic, if you enjoyed this video, video if you find these videos helpful. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a ton as a new YouTuber. I appreciate everything that you guys do. Again, we do have a giveaway going on right now. Link is in the description. If you have not already entered, you have until Friday night to do so. So make sure you get in, make sure you get that comment on that video. Like I said, the link will be in the description. I'm out for today though, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Continue.